Tell us more.
So I was talking about Wendy and her crew, and she does an amazing job. And one of the things they came up with, her and Kat, was a program called VIC. It's Veteran in Care.
Oh.
And so what they do is they put out a letter to every assisted living and nursing home facility in the state.
Okay.
And ask them to participate to honor the veterans in their facilities.
Great.
And so
That's great.
And I don't remember exactly how many we've done now. It's hundreds. And so what we do is we have, for instance, here in town, we have American Legion Post 76, DAB Chapter 12, and they have color guards. We do a whole ceremony. We start with the national anthem. They do the posting of the colors, the whole bit to honor these vets. And then every veteran receives a certificate that's signed by the governor and a Nevada Heroes pin, which is a special pin just for them. Nobody else gets those. And so they've been doing those, and I wanted to give Wendy credit for that because her and Kat came up with that idea. And it's just fantastic.
That's beautiful.
And it's very emotional. You've had veterans, older veterans, who have broken down in tears because nobody's ever thanked me before.
Right.
You know, and how sad is that? But,
that is sad.
But at least we're doing that now.
Oh, I love that. And for them to go to the veterans home, even if they just have 2 veterans in that home, it makes a big difference.
Well, we actually have a Nevada Veteran Advocate program, which I can get into a little later, but we have some of these NVAs who will actually go to homes, a person's home, a veteran's home who can't get out.
Really?
And go to their home and do a little ceremony as well and present them with a certificate.
That is super. I mean, is that germane to Nevada?
Yeah, it is. We're very proud of that, and so we will continue to do that as long as we can.
I like that, and since we are all over the United States, I'd like for you folks that are listening to Fred to key onto that and suggest that they do that where you're at.
Well, you know, we do have programs, and Kat goes to a meeting called National Association of State Directors of Veterans Affairs.
Okay.
NASDAVA.
Okay.
For short, if that's short. But the state directors all get together once a year, and they talk about all the things they're doing, and of course they bring in folks from the VA, the secretary, and whoever. But we have gotten different awards for the programs we do in Nevada.
Right, great.
And we're very, very thrilled about that. The biggest part of this conference is, hey, steal ideas. You know? So Kat will go to these things.
Good.
Before she even gets home, she's got a to-do list for the deputy directors and the executive officer.
That's great.
So she just went not too long ago, and we just got our list. But at the same time, I'm getting phone calls. So after she went last year, she talked about the NVA, the Nevada Veteran Advocate Program, and how we do it. And said, if you're interested, contact our Deputy Director, Fred Wagar, and he'll set you up.
Oh, good.
And so I got calls from, before she even got back to the state,
You got the calls.
I got calls from Oklahoma and Massachusetts saying, hey, we'd like in on this. How do we do it? And we share it. I mean,
Well, how do they contact you, Fred? Give them an email or something.
Sure. So the best way to contact me is by phone. My number is 702-486-3830. If I'm not there, leave a message with my assistant, and she'll have me call you back. So 702-486-3830. Or you can contact me by email. That's Wagar, and I'm going to spell it out. Don't put it down yet. WAGARF, as in Fred, at veterans.nv.gov. There's always somebody that spells it wrong. They'll put wager like ER or NER. It's not wager. It's not Wagner. It is Wagar with 2 A's. WAGAR.
Okay, and for some reason you forget that, you can go to the website.
Absolutely. If you go to our website, and there's even a drop down where you can see all the leadership. I'm the third one down, and there's a email link right there. You just go ahead and get a hold of me.
So that's great. Now you're a busy guy. I see you at a lot of veterans events, and you're usually talking. You'll address us like
I have a hard time not.
like at the Purple Heart ceremony on August the 7th. You talked. I was really upset because I filmed you, but my camera didn't have the SD card in it. but I said to myself, Kathy, do not be upset because he'll be speaking again.
Well, and my face is made for radio. So.
There you go.
But, that same day, Director Miller was down here, and we went out to Pahrump for their ceremony.
Oh, okay.
And and Kat was one of the featured speakers. And I will tell you, it was, and I've heard her talk a lot.
Me too.
It was the best speech I've ever heard. It was very moving.
Aww.
There were old veterans in the audience with tears in their eyes. I mean, it was
Aww.
that good. So she can top me any day. So we'll get her on the radio
No,
show.
we will. I was a keynote speaker, and I heard her years ago in Henderson, and I thought that lady moves the audience. Yes, absolutely.
She's got it together, and being a colonel, and I got to give her a little grief because she was an officer. I was enlisted, so she retired as a colonel, and I retired as a sergeant first class. And I didn't have a lot of love for officers back in the day, but I've gained that love for her. She's just an amazing person.
Right. Yeah. I understand what you're saying about that. I worked with the military. I was a federal secretary for over a decade, and you'd have a general on this side and a general on this side, and sometimes one was a leader and one wasn't.
That's right.
And then you could have a staff sergeant, and he was a leader of the general. So
yeah, it all depends on the leadership styles. I did want to mention one other person, and that's Amy Garland. Amy is our executive officer, and so under her is HR and payroll and time cards and all that stuff. She's got the money. She's the one we got to get approval from now. She'll go to Kat, and talk about it, but she tells Kat whether we got the money to spend on
she's
something.
like your treasurer.
That's right.
I got you. Okay.
She's absolutely wonderful, and she's been with the state for quite some time, but she's with NDVS now for a while, and just does an amazing job for us. And such a positive person. So I had to get her a little plug in there.
It takes a team.
They're behind the scenes, and it's kind of like in the military, beans and bullets. You
right.
got to have that person that's going to do that.
Absolutely. Yeah, teamwork. Yeah.
So as far as myself, as Deputy Director of Programs and Services, I've got a number of programs under me that keep moving forward as well, and some wonderful staff out there. First, we have our Veteran Service Officers. We call it the Veteran Advocacy and Support Team, VAST. And so VAST is the whole umbrella for all the Veteran Service Officers, our Women Veterans Coordinator, quite a few people there, all the staff that falls in there. And our Veteran Service Officer are really top-notch. I mean, they really try to help everybody. And we are actually getting them out in the communities now more than we have before. So, first of all, I have offices in Elko. I've got Fallon, Reno, Pahrump, Vegas, and then I have part-time service officers at the homes as well.
Oh my goodness, that's wonderful.
Yeah. And then I've got one that's part-time that reaches out to UNR, TMCC, and the VA Medical Center up in Reno. I've got a part-time one down here that is now doing education, so UNLV, College of Southern Nevada, all the main schools that have vet centers within them, we want that person in there to be helping with claims for the students that are going to college.
That's fantastic.
The veterans coming back, they're going to school, let's help them out and make sure they get all their benefits.
Right. Do you, you have so many people under you. I mean, do you have somebody assisting you? Or?
I've got an administrative assistant. If it wasn't for Annette, I'd be lost in the woods because she keeps my schedule going. But that's the only person directly with for what I do. There's a lot of people working for me, but they're in different parts of the organization. But the veteran service officers do a great job. They're doing the claims. So
thousands of claims.
Yeah, they do many claims every month, and we average about $14 million a month coming into the state from each veteran service officer.
Wow.
That's a lot of money coming into the state. So very proud of what they do. We've got another one that works with incarcerated veterans. I've got another opportunity now to work with the USO out at Nellis Air Force Base.
Okay.
We are going to start setting up an office out there and having somebody out there on a part-time basis.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of folks getting out of the military. And we're not the only game in town. There's other service organizations as well.
Right.
At the VA down here, we have 2 offices, and then DAV VFW, Catholic War Veterans, and Paralyzed Veterans of America all have offices there as well. And so, all in all, there is about 38 accredited service officers in the state. Reno has DAV and VFW as well, that are all co-located with a VA facility. And so we're very happy to work with them, and that brings to mind, just last weekend, we had VSO training, and that wasn't just for state employees. So on Friday, we brought in-house, because we had to do some housekeeping.
Oh, you brought 38 people or something?
Yes, yeah, we brought 38 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, you heard it already. So we had service officers from DAV, VFW, Paralyzed Veterans of America, Military Order of the Purple Heart, and American Legion. And I'm trying to think, there's 2 out of the VTRC, the Veteran Street Transition Resource Center here in town, that came as well. We had 38 people there.
Good.
We had 3 trainers come from Washington, D.C. to do the training.
Great.
Now, DAV has probably some of the best training in the nation as far as veteran service organizations go. And so they were a little iffy on whether they wanted to come or not. And so both the supervisors, the Reno and the Vegas supervisors, said, well, I'll come and check it out. Kind of that. We've done it. We got done, and the DAV National Service Officer Supervisor from Vegas came up, and he says, Fred, I've been to a lot of training. This is the best one I've ever been to. He says, next year, I'll have all my service officers here.
Great.
So we were very happy with that. It wasn't training to be a service officer.
Right.
Right, because that's a lower level. It's not unimportant. In fact, it's very important to get that first training well. But this was a higher level, so very intense training. I even had some veteran service officers come up to me and say, some of this is over my head. It's some really good stuff.
Right.
But it was talking about how to argue claims, and especially on appeals, because the appeals process can be daunting.
Yes.
There's appeals out there that are 7 years old. And the VA is working very hard, and I'll give them credit for this. It's kind of like the backlog on claims. When they had backlog on claims, they were out a year and a half, 2 years. And now they're 100 days.
Oh, so they've done some change since Trump came into office, right?
Oh, no, this was even
Before
that.
Before that.
Absolutely. It's been a good 5-6 years since it's turned around.
Oh, okay.
And they've kept it going. So, yeah, it's just...
That's good.
It had to do with VA changes. What they did
thank God.
Yeah. And so I'm very impressed with the VA and how they've turned things around, and some of the attitude as well. Like I said, I was a Raider, and there were some Raiders out there. I didn't get that, so I'm not granting it either. So but for the most part, those employees are just wonderful, and they've stepped up to the plate. They're being much more liberal in their recognition of certain disabilities and all of that.
Right, more knowledgeable than they were. The PTSD, that wasn't just recognized or brain trauma injury.
No, it wasn't. I mean, you think back, and it's changed names over the years. There was a period of time, it still happens once in a while, where the military will put you out on a personality disorder. Personality disorder cannot become service-connected. PTSD, depression, those kinds of things can be. So more and more we're seeing the military look at this and say, hey, let's take a good look at how we are looking at mental health conditions.
Right.
And so PTSD, TBI, traumatic brain injury, and all of that.
We're going to have to come back. We're talking about injuries and claims, but we're going to break. Be back with you shortly.